Welcome, everybody. This is Al Shar presenting Stellar Starts and Strong Finishes. The objective of this session is to give teachers peace on the front end and on the back end of lessons so as to de-stress themselves, because the number one thing about staying in education long-term is maintaining your personal stress level. My name is Al Shar, and I look forward to presenting Stellar Starts and Strong Finishes. So much of student success begins at home. One time myself and my family, we were waiting for my wife to come out of the grocery store, and we saw a family come up to their car and get in, and there was this grocery cart just parked against their car, and I'm watching with my kids, and we're wondering, well, what's going to happen? And about 3.5 minutes into this, out from the car comes just this horrendous shrieking and yelling and screaming. And what we saw was such major dysfunction. If you are like me, I come from a background where everything was kind of done in a systematic, procedural kind of way. And so a really good practice would be to follow the directions on the screen and see if you can come up with the different steps in this process. And the theory behind this is, early in my career, I was wondering what caused student success. And I found this research out there that suggests across creed, culture, nationality, and languages, the number one contributing factor to student success was the family meal. And there are so many pieces to that, but some of the main parts of that are the steps in a process, the predictability, the family ties, and that everybody has a place. And if you think about it, gangs now offer many of the things that the family meal provided, and that was a sense of identity, a purpose, a job to do, and a sense of belonging. If you just unpause this video, these were the steps in the process that I came up with, and there are many more. So in theory, this is kind of the background theory moving forward. So an overview of the agenda is just the theory of the practice, and then the theory to do a strong finish. And if you're a part of our live session coming up, you'll also be practicing this, and practicing correctly is the key to success. The objectives are identify the components of an effective threshold and silent do now. Teachers will be able to conduct an effective threshold and do now, and teachers will be able to identify components of an effective strong finish and deliver strong finish directions. For this recording, my goal is to get through the threshold and do now pieces. In this image, you see everything that is needed for classroom culture. A group of people moving in the same direction, doing a specific task, and the conditions have to be correct. A classroom culture is much the same way. The conditions have to be there because either teachers work proactively to create an environment that they want and a culture that they want. Otherwise, students will create a culture. It just might not be the culture that's the best for the students and the teacher. If you have access, you can look up this video. This is a great example from my friend Devin on how to run an effective threshold. The components of a threshold are silent halls, personal touch, obviously different if there's COVID going on. Teachers can hand out hand sanitizer instead of the handshake, but you can still have eye contact, and ultimately it has to be peaceful and predictable. The key idea, what to do directions. What to do means giving students specific, concrete, observable directions in sequence to tell them what to do as opposed to what not to do. Directions should be specific, concrete, sequential, and observable. For example, if I'm having students come in, I'll tell them, scholars, I need 3 things before you enter the classroom. I need your eyes, a smile, and a good morning, Mr. Shar. With COVID, I would tell them I need your eyes, a smile through your mask, and a hand sanitizer. Good morning, Mr. Shar. Why does this matter? Because when I first went to Milwaukee and was teaching there, I was always trying to figure out, is it because the students just don't like me, or is it they just don't know what's going on? And so this information was transformative when there's actually 3 tiers: incompetence, defiance, and opportunistic. Because when we understand that a lot of times when students just need to be taught what to do, we can actually decrease behavioral concerns. Incompetence is actually 65%, defiance is 5%, and opportunistic is about 30% of the behaviors. And what's really healthy about this slide is that, just like Love and Logic suggests, the majority of problems are coming from a minority of students. So if it is incompetence, you teach it. If it's defiance, you isolate it. And if it's opportunistic, you eliminate or plan for it. So the threshold demo, you can see it in our virtual immersion tour 2.0 version. And if you go to CfUT virtual immersion tour, that'll pop up. Otherwise, get a hold of one of us recruiters and we'll send you that video directly. And the questions we'll be asking you are, what are the words and actions of the teacher and why is it effective? So now it's your turn. Script out what you will be telling your students in the hall before they enter. Include every detail and include language that is specific, concrete, sequential, and observable. Go ahead and pause this video. And if you need help, go ahead and contact me or another recruiter, and we'll talk you through this process. Welcome back. We're going to go through the glows and grows process if you're coming in for one of our live sessions. And this is when we're going to help you practice your skills so that before you even let your kids in the classroom, they know that you're serious, predictable, and consistent, and that you're also in the business of having great relationships with kids. When it comes to ending of lesson strong, that's where we get into strong finishes, and that's going to be the next recording. Thanks for chiming in. This is Al Shar at the Center for Urban Teaching. If you have any questions, please reach out at cfut.org.